Okay, so we're moving along and we're going to talk about the machines. The machines are here and they can talk to you and they can do things for you. And sometimes they'll just do things because they know that's what they need to do. This is a really interesting time to be living in because we're seeing this start to happen. We're going to see, refrigerators talking to washing machines, which talk to the lights, which talk to your watch, and everybody's talking to each other. So we're talking about intelligent personal assistants, we're talking about smart advisors, we're talking about a very, very disruptive era in the history of technology that we're coming up against. So to talk a little bit more about that, I want to call Anthony Giannarelli onto the stage. Anthony is one of those out-of-the-box people. He came to prominence a few years back with his design for a car, if Apple ever made a car, and he called it the Apple iMo. So he has a very successful engineering background, started his career as head of design for the leading French jewelry manufacturer, MRM, and then he decided to complete a Master of Arts in automotive design because he wanted to build his own diamond-studded Dubai edition Rolls-Royce. And he came up with the Apple iMo and the Bolide. So that resulted in a bunch of awards and publications in numerous magazines and trend websites around the world. Over the past couple of years, Anthony has been the design director for W Motors. He's designed the exterior and the interior of the new model of the first Arab manufactured car, which is based in Dubai. That's W Motors, with kind of unprecedented style and exclusivity. So Anthony, tell us about the machines. We're going to give him a headset mic. Okay. Do you want a Google Glass to go with that? All right.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Let me just, mic check, yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe it's off, no?
Let me check your unit. No, it's on.
Oh, okay.
It's switched on.
1, 2, 1, 2. Working, no?
Can we just use a handheld? Or are you going to be walking around?
Well, I can use.
Ah.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah. Okay.
Working.
Anthony Giannarelli.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. Is it work? Yeah. And first of all, I'm very pleased to be here, of course, and to be able to present my different projects. So, as I already explained, my name is Anthony Giannarelli, and I'm currently the design director of W Motors. So I'm a kind of very lucky car designer because my main job is to design this type of cars. And W Motors is a company based in Dubai. I mean, created by my Lebanese friend Ralph Debas. And the idea was to bring the automotive industry into the Middle East. So we start with such a project like this, very expensive, very exclusive, because we can start small, and bit by bit, we bring some skills here in the Middle East and mainly in Dubai. So, it's working. No. Okay, yeah. So yeah, another view of the car. So if you need any more information about this, don't hesitate to contact me or to talk to me, because today, that's one of the part of my job. And today, I want to talk about this. So this concept, basically I imagined it in 2008. It was my master's degree at Coventry University. And my idea was to use the Apple philosophy, the Apple design process, to try to foresee the future of car design. Because my point was, is there any car manufacturer like Apple in what Apple does for the computer industry? And at the time, there was no company like this. Now, we are 6 years later, and I can say maybe Tesla is one of these brands that can be disruptive in this car market. And so the people like the concept and the fact that it was Apple, and the whole futuristic idea was get very famous. So I had a lot of coverage all around the world about it. And I want to explain why these two projects, seem very different. Like the super sport, like an extreme sports car, very expensive, and at the same time, self-driving cars, like intelligent cars, can work together, because I call this balance principle. We are humans, we like to sometimes practicality, but at the same time we need emotions. So the trends are here, The more we go for practical car, very efficient way of transporting yourself from point A to B, the more as well you will need on the other side to get the excitement of just the thrill of driving. So the two trends you will see, they will develop more and more, and you can check already on this extreme little sports car you can see from the UK, They're selling them more and more and more, and as for instance Jay Leno's in USA explained, these petrol cars, they will become like the same way we use the horses now. They're just a leisure activity, and our main tool, will be this intelligent and connected smart cars. So basically, to explain a bit more, if you read this sentence, when the pioneers of automobile removed the horse to create the horseless carriage, which is a car, they remove the intelligence as well. So now through electronics and smart computer, we can put the intelligence back in. So what I mean about that is that before you have a horse and you want to turn left, for instance, you just indicate the horse you want to turn left. If there is an obstacle, it will avoid the obstacle. So this, we don't know that anymore. Now you're 100% in charge of your car. So in the future, we'll come back to this type of thing where, you can trust the machine and it will do the job for you. So as a designer, I wanted to see how, we can design a nice machine that you can, as I said, trust, So my point is that IMO should be a self-driving car, but more than that, it's like your best artificial companion in life. So you have to be emotionally connected to it. So for instance, I design it's like a robot, it has a face, and you will order you ask him to do different tasks. So you can imagine, of course, because the car is connected to the rest of the net, so you can communicate with it. It can take you anywhere you want, so like a taxi driver. And if you want, for instance, to take your kid to school, or if you want them to be picked up somewhere, you can just ask the car to do it for you. And as well, you can even imagine that if you just want to use it as a carrier, just to transport something from point A to B, you can ask it as well. So it's very like your smartphone, but it can carry you. And in addition of that, if you try to push the concept further, you can imagine that if we start to have this type of cars, you can start to change the whole city experience. So if these cars, you don't have to park them anywhere in the street, they can just take you somewhere and go away. You can imagine basically not having any car parked in the street. So when you start to do that, you start to imagine what's benefits for humans, for pedestrians, for everybody, to have a nice city, for example, with maybe more trees, etc., more space to walk around. So that's one of the illustrations I can show. And all these studies, I want to explain that it's not just science. They are based, for instance, on this study in Europe called Foresight Project, where they try to imagine a different scenario in the future. And they explain that we will be relying on the intelligent parking system and intelligent infrastructure. So that means the traffic lights, everything in the city will communicate with the smart cars, and they will communicate as well with each other. So the main point is to get something very optimized, very efficient. Yeah. So again, another illustration, because that was for Michelin in the United States. They wanted to have an idea of, like, for instance, if you want to replace the New York taxi driver, you can have a car like this that hang around in the city. And the good thing about this, you know, Google explained very well about it all the time. You can prevent traffic jam, accidents, and again, you'll get much more space in the city. My point as well was to try to know where you can park these cars, etc., and how you can modify the city this way. So there's a little animation about it. So now I will try to explain. It's always difficult, but I will try to explain a bit more about the technical details of this car, because my point at the time was to explain that all the technology you see in this car are based on existing technologies that needs to be developed further in the future. So again, trying to understand the design process at Apple was very useful, because they call that the process of elimination. It's like reducing the number of parts, so you get something more efficient, more reliable. And at the end, the whole design is benefits out of it. So if you try to apply this process, you can think of a car which has only 2 wheels and uses you see a gyroscopic system, a bit like the Segway. The good thing about it is you don't need any steering system for that. So no wheels, no pedals. And now, you know, you can, for those of you who knows about Google car, you know, now they're starting already to expand with that, you know, putting people inside the car with no pedals, no steering wheel. And the experience is not bad at all, actually. And in addition of that, I check about what is called the shape-shifting material. And this is a great thing for the future. If you manage to put this technology much more mature, it will be great, because one of the main problems for designers is the interior of cars. You know, we have different bodies. Sometimes we are tall, small. So you have to accommodate everybody with the dashboard, with the seats, everything. It means that you have to create a huge number of parts, and it's very difficult to actually to make this more developed. So one of the ideas is, like, if you can use shape-shifting material, like using these nitinol wires, which charge wires when you can create a mesh out of them, and if you apply a little electric current, they will bend. So if this is controlled by a powerful processor, you can imagine that the whole interior, for instance, this big gray area, can change of shape and accommodate your body. So that's what you see, for instance, on one of the pictures above. And again, this comes from this process of elimination. If you want a comparison, it's a bit like when Apple created the iPhone. Before, on your smartphone, you had the keyboard, and the problem with the keyboard is sometimes your fingers are too big, sometimes you want different function on it. But so it's start to be very, very complicated if you want to have a device that can give you many different applications. So what they thought of is just, okay, let's just get rid of the keys and use the tactile screen. So it's a step like this we need in the car industry. So having shape-shifting material could have the same effect. Basically, you get rid of all the different parts, and you can have something very flexible. And again, if you need me, I won't go into too many details, but if you want more information, just contact me or go on the web. You can check for Apple IMO concept, and all these slides are everywhere on the web. And so here you can see an illustration of how you would get into this car. For instance, bit by bit, this gray shape would deform to accommodate your body. And people many times they ask me, okay, but I still want to drive the car. How can I do it? So going back to the horse, let's create the horse system. It's you can imagine that there's like recognition gesture control, And so you would just show the car how you want to turn, and then the car will turn accordingly to your movement. You know, for instance, with your hand, you know, you go left, right, etc. You can imagine plenty of use, and these are technologies that does exist today. And this is an animation just to show, you know, how many few parts you could get in such a car. Okay, I didn't mention something about the wheels, but again, they are the same. They are made of this shape-shifting material, so you can change the diameter of the wheel. Basically, there will be, the car would scan the ground in front of it, and according to the shape of the road, the diameter of the wheel will change, you know. So I invite you again to go into details to understand properly everything. And I wanted to show you this concept, because when in 2008, 2009, you know, many people asked me, okay, you know, how do we get to IMO? Because IMO is supposed to be something for 2024. And because it's not just pure fantasy, you can think of a plan to go to this stage. Because the first thing we notice as designers is like, it's always the point with users' acceptance. Because people, you know, some people love the concept of IMO, and some other people say, oh, I'd never want to be in such a car, you know, this car will kill myself. So the point is that you have to have the people used to your concept. So the first stage of IMO would be this kind of vehicle. It has normal wheels, it's a three-wheeler, and basically it has the same purpose as IMO, making the traffic much more optimized, and you can go very easily in the city because the vehicle is very nimble. But at the same time, it's safe because it's quite high. And you see, compared to, that's one of the main reasons people don't want to ride motorbikes or small vehicles, because they are scared of accident with big cars. So trying to imagine a first concept like this, which is a very cheap electric vehicle, but that's kind of cool, and you would get people used to this type of vehicle. And then you can imagine the second stage would be to have this type of vehicle, but a bit more refined, and having this artificial intelligence inside being the property of being of driving by itself. So if you notice now, that's what Google is doing with this concept of cars. And so that's where, you know, people start to accept this. And the further stage, then the third stage, would be something like Apple IMO, when you start to put people only on two wheels and with more like shape-shifting material, etc. So the car doesn't look at all anymore like a car, and it's even more efficient. So in accordance with this conference, you know, I just want to invite people to think that we live in an exciting time because the technology is here, and it's up to you, us all, and designers and entrepreneurs to make this fantasy machine a commercial reality, because that's how you do have an impact on people's life, you know. So I just say we have to aim high and try to get this thing on the road. Thank you.
Anthony, I mean, this is, for just very quickly, I mean, this is really phenomenal what you've come up with here. I'm just thinking, I mean, we've got disruptive technology and we've got disruptive design. And how do we get to disruptive behavior? And I mean, because we look at cars, especially, I mean, in this part of the world, we look at cars as status symbols, as, you know, we like the space, we like to have our moving hotel while we travel.
Exactly, I mean, that's, again, you know, it's, if you, I like Apple, I'm not a huge fan of Apple, but they are a good example, because, for instance, the iPhone is something very disruptive in the phone market. So, you know, how do you get users to use it? I don't know if you remember the first time people say, oh yeah, the screen is dirty, I don't manage to put well. But because the product is so good that people start to accept it. And so that's how you have to do it. But Tesla, for instance, have a good example, because Another way to get to, I say, to user acceptance is just to be soft. For instance, Tesla, they didn't want to revolutionize car design first. You know, the S does look like a normal big sedan. If you don't know it's electric, you cannot tell. That's why it's clever, actually, because people, that's what they want today. You know, they want a normal car, you know, but they get used to the new technology. And next stage will be to make something a little bit different, etc. So that's the role of designers compared sometimes to, I would say, entrepreneurs or engineers. That you have to understand the mind of people, you know, what they do expect today, actually.
And are you going to be able to convince W Motors in Dubai to build one of your cars, or is that going to be have to be a different project?
Yeah, I mean, W Motors, it's my friend's project, and that's why I'm very lucky, because I can go on the exciting thing of doing supercars, but at the same time, you know, we keep in touch with what's going on in the technology side, because one of the goals as well of W Motors later on is to try to implement more technologies like this, you know. And but it's a big plan, you know. It's not going to happen 2 or 3 years time. It's like 10, 20 years time. And but for sure, because we do believe that both sides are the future of car design. You will need both, you know. It's a bit like exactly like horse riding today. You know, you have a car because it's more efficient, but you like horse riding because it's your pleasure. So that's how we're gonna use car later on. You know?
Great. Well, Anthony Generelli, amazing work. Thank you.